Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ask Ms. Myrz, where we answer your most burning questions and solve your most nagging problems. I won't always know the answer, but I'll know someone who will. Hi, my name is Myrza, and I have imposter syndrome. Welcome to the club, where apparently the likes of global achievers like Tom Hanks, Serena Williams, Sheryl Sandberg, and even Maya Angelou admit to having it. If, like them, despite your achievements, you sometimes feel like a fraud, about to be exposed at any moment, you've come to the right place. Here to help us begin to overcome this today so it doesn't stop us from achieving our goals is a fellow member of that club who has explored this phenomenon in her article for MindNation. Please welcome writer and mental health advocate, Ms. Jaclyn Lutanco-Chua. Hi,
Hi,
Jack.
morning.
Hello. Nice to see you again.
Yes, after so many years.
I know. How are you?
I'm good. I'm nervous to be here kasi nga I have imposter syndrome, but I know what
So
it
do
is about
I.
now. So
Right.
yeah,
So
it's good to be
thank you.
here.
Thank you for saying yes, even if, as you confess, the old you would have said no, and that someone else
Yes.
would be much better suited for being in the show. But after you wrote the article, you said to me, yes, 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 it would be my honor. Tell us about this experience of yours.
Oh, okay. So the funny thing is, I first heard about imposter syndrome when I joined MindNation from my boss. She was talking about her own mental health struggles, her own mental health journey, and she was saying, "Oh, I had imposter syndrome." And for me, it was like, "Ano yan? Ano yan? I don't know that. It's probably something that only it's a foreign concept or something like that." And she said, "Jack, maybe you can write about it one of these days." So since I didn't know much about it, I just said, okay, I put it aside. I put a note, imposter syndrome. So as time passed, I decided, oh sige na nga, let's see what this is about. So when I started researching, I said, Ma, that sounds like me. And then I researched more and I talked to a psychologist for this article. And I realized, oh my gosh, this is me. So
Right,
I wrote it and then I shared it on my personal social media page, something I never do, but because
right,
it really resonated with me, I wanted to let others know that such a thing existed. And when I
right.
shared it on my social media page, kumbaga, in my world, naging viral siya. I think of all the posts that I have ever done in my life, it had the most likes, had the most shares, and I got so many comments from friends, from people who I admire for being so confident, ang gagaling nila, ang gaganda nila, and they were telling me that they also had that.
Right.
So, yeah,
And this
that
is
this
what caught my attention because I too have imposter syndrome. For those who don't know what it is, can you tell them what it is?
Yes, as you said earlier, imposter syndrome is basically you feel like a fraud, you feel fake despite all your achievements. So, as I said in my article, it usually affects the famous people, very capable people like mga Tom Hanks, Michelle Obama, Sheryl Sandberg. I remember reading this article that Jodie Foster, who is such an amazing, amazing
Wow.
actress and director, she said that any moment, feeling niya kakatok yung organizers ng Oscar Awards sa kanya to take back the trophy that they gave her and give it to Meryl Streep. And then in that same article, Meryl Streep says that she also has imposter
What?
syndrome. So but
Wow.
it's not just the artistas and the CEOs who have that. Regular people like me, like you, we also grapple with self-doubt. We also feel many, many times that we are not good enough. We feel that we were only given a promotion or given an opportunity kasi chamba, kasi swerte, or nagkataon, wala nang ibang mapagpilian. You're the only one there, so they gave it to you. I felt that for so, so many years. And back then, I thought I was just being humble. I
Right.
thought I was just not, I was tempering my ambitions kasi ang hirap naman mag-overreach or maging ambisyosa. I wanted to gain more experience kuno. And I passed up on so many opportunities, so many amazing promotions, and a lot of people also feel that way.
Wow. What do you think is the cause? Why does everybody have it?
Well, according to my article, it can be from the family background. You were raised in a family that, valued achievement. You have to be magaling, you have to be the best. So ikaw, if you make mistakes along the way, you were raised in this perfectionist atmosphere and you make mistakes and you were actually scolded or castigated for being, for making mistakes or for being a failure, that kind of imprints in your mind and you're afraid na if somebody offers you something challenging and amazing and scary, obviously it will be scary. Your first instinct is to shy away and say, ay, hindi ko kaya yan. For sure, magkakamali ako, papalpak ako, ayoko. And then I think another reason is, I might get in trouble for saying this, but Filipinos have a tendency to shame smart people.
Yes. Right.
If we attempt to do something beyond, well, not naman beyond, but if we attempt to claim an opportunity or a challenge, sasabihin ng tao ay feeling, ay nagmamagaling,
Right.
or parang akala mo lang kaya mo pero wala yan. Parang
Right.
ganon.
Or they'll say,
So,
akala mo kung sino ka,
yes,
filingera, di ba?
di ikaw na, yung mga ganon, di ba? You try to say, oh, my boss offered me a promotion. Eh, di ikaw na, instead of being,
Oo.
gracious and
Right.
congratulating. So ikaw, to avoid being bashed or criticized, you just say, okay, wag na lang.
Or the
I
term that I hate, nagmamaganda.
Yes, oo.
Diba? Which doesn't
Yes.
apply just to ganda. But if you are bold enough or confident,
Yes, yes.
nagmamaganda. What are the other symptoms of imposter syndrome?
Well, there's like what I said, there's self-doubt, there's blaming yourself if you don't do something perfectly. I don't
Right.
even say doing something right, hindi lang right, kailangan perfect, kailangan walang
Right.
mali. For
Right.
example, the old me, after we talk, after this interview, for sure, I would sit for a while and think, oh, I should have said this. I should not have done that. I should not have said this.
Right.
But the new me, I will try my very best to say, I did my best. I was able to get some points across. And if I did not articulate myself well enough, well, then next time, if I get another opportunity, I'll learn from this, I'll do better.
Right. In my own experience, now that I'm, trying to be a host, diba? I learned from Lourdes de Vera actually, because I feared the judgment of people so much. And then he told me that usually yung takot ma-judge ay yung mga grabing mag-judge. The more pintasera you are, the more afraid you are na pintasan ka. What do you think about that? And what can we do about that?
I don't think that's true.
Oh,
to
really?
be honest, hindi naman ako pintasera. Kasi nga sobrang imposter syndrome ako. I'm not fishing for compliments, but I think very low of myself. I know there are people who are better looking, who are more articulate. So I don't think it's about being a pintasera yourself, but
Okay.
you are aware that there are a lot of judgmental and pintaseras out there, and you absorb that. You feel that your every move is being judged and bashed. And I
Right.
think it's more difficult online because you do not see the reactions of the people you're talking to. Pag live
Right.
audience, ay mukhang bored yan. So you'll do something right away. Diba? Ay mukhang hindi siya nakikinig. So you can pivot to be more interesting or be more energetic. Here, we're talking, everything seems fine. And then for all we know, someone there has logged out na pala. Or typing something na, ay naku, parang this is such a boring episode. You'll never know until the very end.
Right. So tell us about MindNation, where you work.
MindNation is a mental health and well-being company. So by this, I mean that we started out by offering our services to companies and organizations like schools and other businesses to create holistic health programs for the team so that everyone in the company, the employees, the managers, even their families, the kids, they can handle stress better, they can cope with challenges better, and be happy, healthy, and productive people. But very recently, just this year, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, so many people, not just employees, but even people at home, even kids, senior citizens, lahat-lahat, they are experiencing so many mental health issues like anxiety, depression, feeling empty, feeling hopeless. So we began offering our services to the general public. So one of our services is the 24/7 chat with a friend on FB
Wow.
Messenger. This
Right.
is free if you are alone and you're awake at 2 a.m. because of so many anxious thoughts, or you're isolating by yourself in the condo because of social distancing and you're feeling depressed, or you just want someone to talk to, you can just message us on FB Messenger, and there are trained chat agents who will there to make you feel less alone. Now, if you want more help, more professional help, feeling mo iba na talaga yung nararamdaman mo, you need to talk to someone who knows what to do, who knows how to guide you. We also have 24/7 virtual sessions with psychologists and well-being coaches, depending on what you need. If it's really a mental health issue, you talk to a psychologist. If you're feeling good, but you feel that, some parts of your life could need improvement, like you want to quit smoking or manage your money better, you can talk naman to a well-being coach. And then we also have when you go to our website, www.themindnation.com, there's a tab there called Mind U, that's Mind University. When you click that, you have access to a lot of free resources that can help you improve your mental and emotional health, like meditation audio clips, or mga gratitude worksheets, or mga prompts for journaling. And you can also read there the blogs that I write. I write about a variety of mental health topics, mental health issues, anything to do with well-being, and you can read and you can leave comments so that we'll know what else to write about next time and address any concerns that you may have.
Great. That's so timely and helpful, especially today. Na everyone's really, it's actually, May is actually Mental Health Month. So it's
Yes.
super timely. What are
Yes.
the things that imposter syndrome can prevent you from experiencing or achieving because of fear? Like I remember for me, I joined the writing contest for fun uh,
Mm.
over a decade ago. It was actually the Palanca Awards, and then the week of the Palanca Awards, parang may rumor na nanalo ako. So I thought,
Mm.
that's ridiculous. Paano ako mananalo? Kakasali ko lang. Wala naman akong karapatan. So hindi ko pinansin. And then the day before, my friend Jessica Zafra also actually called me. And then she said, Hoy, may chismis na nanalo ka raw. I'm like, paano naman ako mananalo? Kakasali ko pa lang. Tsaka, sino ba naman ako para manalo? So she said, tawagan mo lang. Try mo lang tanongin kung nanalo ka. Anong gagawin ko? Hello, Palanca Awards, nanalo ba ako? And then she said, just try. So I actually sent a sheepish email. Hi, I heard that I won. Did I win? And then they actually replied, didn't you get the letter? You won. Imagine if sa fear ko or sa disbelief ko na may chance na manalo ako, hindi ako tumawag. So for you, what are some of the opportunities that you've said no to? Or in general, what have people prevented themselves from experiencing due to this very debilitating syndrome?
Okay, personally, a lot. After reading this article, parang I really thought back. Before I joined Summit Media, I was with an airline, an international airline.
Okay.
It was like a few months out of college, so fresh grad, feeling very inexperienced. And after a while, I was offered to be a management trainee. So meaning I go to different departments, may chance pa na I get assigned abroad to the headquarters ng airline.
Wow.
And I said no right away. Sabi ko, sir, no, I'm not ready for that. And I'll talk about that later. But I did not even ask anyone, what do you think? Kaya ko ba? I just said, when
Right.
it was offered to me, I said no outright. So back then, I didn't think anything of it. I said I was doing the company a favor. Parang, hello, kakagraduate ko pa lang, you want me to take on so many responsibilities? Parang, di kaya mapahiya kayo. Okay, fast forward to Summit. To Summit Media, I was offered
Yes.
in chief position so many times.
Oh my gosh.
I did. I even remember being interviewed by you, I think, but I did not give it my all, to be
Oh,
honest. Kasi nga, feeling ko, I did it just to humor the person who said, Jack, you should
Ah,
apply. So, sige, fine, I'll apply. But all the while, parang may defeatist thoughts na ako. Hindi ko yan kaya. How can I be like Myrza Sison? How
oh
can I
my
be like
God.
Juan? And all those other people that I admire who are so confident and ang galing-galing nila. And here I am, I'm just this associate editor. I can't. I won't do it. I'll just do it to humor the people. And then I was actually relieved I didn't get it.
Oh my
So
gosh. Kinlabutan
even
ako
when
doon.
kasi these self-defeating thoughts, parang self-fulfilling prophecy siya, di ba? I cannot do it. I'm a failure. I will fail. I will make
Oh
mistakes.
my gosh.
It comes true, di ba? It
Right.
affects how you do things, how you talk, how you grab opportunities. So what else? Okay, imposter syndrome is not a mental illness per se, but it can lead to mental illness
Wow.
because sa kakaisip mo na you are unqualified, you are inadequate, you are unworthy, it's really most likely that you will feel, unqualified and unworthy and have low self-esteem in the long run. I
Wow.
would like to think na yung imposter syndrome ko hindi naman super grabe, na it came to the point na I was so depressed and I didn't want to do anything anymore. But on the other hand, if I had known about this earlier, if I had known this was the reason why I was turning down so many opportunities, there is that feeling of sayang. I could have
Right.
been
Super
now I
sayang
could
talaga.
do that. Yes. But of course now I always just tell myself everything happens for a reason. There were good things naman that came out of not getting those opportunities, those promotions. So at least now I know, and then moving forward, doon na
Right.
lang magsa-start yung claim it lifestyle natin, di ba?
Right.
Yung joy mo ng
Okay.
joy.
Let us get right down through it. So you gave us 5 out of the 8 tips that you wrote in your article on how to overcome imposter syndrome. And number 1 is own your success, but do it with a level head. Please explain.
Yes, because, okay, so most of us equate imposter syndrome with humility. That does not mean that the opposite of imposter syndrome is maging mayabang ka, na I'm the best, I'm the only one who can do it, give it to me, ako lang makakagawa niya. No, that's not it. So, yeah, you have to own your success. But I think that's hard for a lot of people because aside from what I said earlier about the fear of smart shaming, I think it's a Pinoy or an Asian thing that it's very hard for us to accept compliments. So if someone would tell me before, uy, Jack, ganda mo ngayon ah. I'd say, uy, hindi ah, bad hair day ako. Or hindi ah, mas maganda ka kaya. Or if someone told me I did a good job, or wow, galing-galing mo sa interview mo kanina, I deflect it by saying, hindi, chamba lang. Or hindi, kasi mabait si Myrza. Or, uy, ang dami kong kayang mali, nakakahiya. All those things. So to overcome imposter syndrome, you have to learn to accept compliments, but do it graciously. When you're too modest, it diminishes your efforts when you deserve to shine kasi you put in a lot of hard work. Like me, I prepared for this interview. Nag-research ako, I prepared notes, I dressed up. These things, but there are many things that you did that deserve recognition. So credit yourself for your achievements. You do deserve that pat on the back. You do deserve recognition for all the blood, the sweat, and the tears that you put into anything that you do. When someone tells you, uy, you did a good job, you say thank you. Or you take your cue from the Oscar Award winning actors and actresses, di ba? Or here is your award. And they say thank you. Thank you for this, but I could not have done it without my friends, my coworkers, my spouse, my kids, and all that. So the key to owning your success is to show gratitude, but you share the credit and you don't put down other people. And you should always be aware that you got to where you are because of so many other people and so many other things.
Right. Culturally kasi valued yung pagpapakumbaba, di ba? Ayaw natin,
Yes.
yabang naman yan, nagbubuhat ng sariling bangko. But actually, detrimental pala yun to our success. So,
Yes.
okay, number 2 is accept that mistakes are a part of life. I think we all
Yes.
suffer from a perfectionism syndrome also, which I
Mm-mm.
am just learning now na Di pala siya okay masyado. Can you expound?
Yes, there is a difference between doing your best and being a perfectionist. So when you do your best, you give it your all, but you know your limitations. Hanggang dito lang ako. Kunyari, this is my first time, so hanggang dito lang ako. And you know what is possible given the resources that you have, di ba? Pag ganyan lang talaga yung pera, or ganyan lang yung talents mo, let's say, gusto mo maging Miss Universe, but you know that biologically, physically, hindi ka naman ganun katangkad or kasexy, you can do other things but not be aim for Miss Universe, di ba? You can be a model or just, post on social media and all that. So the point is, when you do your best, you should feel content. No matter how the end result will look like to others, no matter what others say. But being a perfectionist on the other hand, may kasamang paranoia yan eh. If you don't succeed, it's the end of the world. You're a failure. If you don't do well on a job, you're not just a bad employee, you're a bad person by itself. Your life will be over. Parang ganun eh, it's all or nothing. So of course, when you set such high perfectionist standards of yourself, obviously it's gonna be intimidating. Of course, it's going to be scary. And of course, you're going to turn down all the promotions, all the invitations, all the opportunities that are given to you. Because for sure, they will require you to step outside of your comfort zone, which means that you will be making mistakes. So you have to accept that mistakes are a part of life. They allow you to learn, they allow you to grow, and we should all make room for growth to become a better version of who we are. Instead of aiming for perfection, we should aim for goals that are challenging, but at the same time, realistic and achievable.
How do
So,
you?
for example,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was saying when you go into a room and you see all these brilliant people, mga CEOs, mga magagaling, and you're just an intern, don't say right away, oh my gosh, I can never be like them. You have to say, oh wow, these are all brilliant people, and I'm looking forward to learning from them.
Right. How do you straddle the balance between on the parang upper limit is perfectionism and the lower limit naman is complacency? Like when you say accept na hanggang dito ka lang. Sometimes hindi rin yun okay dahil minsan you can surpass pala your limits or what you have accepted to be your abilities. How do you keep striving to improve and yet not killing yourself by being a perfectionist?
I read somewhere that life is like a video game. So, ikaw, you're starting out level 1. And then you see someone na nasa level 10 na. So, being perfectionist is saying na, I'm gonna aim for level 10. And you kill yourself aiming for level 10. You don't do anything else but aim for level 10. And if you die repeatedly in level 1, feeling mo na you're a bad person, you're the worst gamer in history, you're the worst person in history. But not to be complacent is aiming to go to level 2 muna, then level 3. And then if it takes a long time to go to level 4, that's when you decide, do I keep working on going to level 4 or do I stop? Do I talk to other people and say, sa tingin mo, ano kaya ginagawa kong mali? Hindi ako maka-advance to beyond level 4. And that's when you'll be able to see and hear hanggang saan ka lang, di ba? So
Right,
maybe
right.
people will say, instead of going to level 4, try this other game first para ma-practice mo. And then yung mga techniques, balik ka sa level 4. Or maybe you realize when you go to another game, mas gusto mo pala ito. Now,
Right.
this original goal that you wanted, maybe it's really not for you. It's not interesting anymore. So you pivot and you try something else. And maybe this is where you will shine.
Right. In my own experience, I have learned to factor in learning curve with my timetable. Like if you say, okay, by this time, I want to achieve this. Dadagdagan ko ng maraming learning curve para naka-built in na yung mistakes. That way,
Yes.
you don't feel bad kung magkamali ka, di ba?
Yes. But
So
you should not feel bad kung magkamali ka. Pero ako pa
Right.
nagsabi nun, I do feel bad. No, feel bad, but learn from it, move on. Brush it
Right.
aside. Next.
Right. Know that feelings are not facts.
Yes, this is something I learned as a mental health advocate. We all have feelings because we're only human. And yes, these feelings are real and they are valid. So We may be happy, we may be sad, angry, depressed, stressed, all of that. And they are real and should be affirmed and validated. Okay, so when someone comes to us and says, "Hey, I'm feeling sad," we should not say, "Wala yan." When someone comes to us and says, "I'm feeling stressed," we should not say, "Ah, itulog mo lang yan." It should not be the case. But anyway, so it's the same for us. When we feel sad, we acknowledge. When we feel inadequate, we acknowledge, "I am feeling this way." But just because you feel certain things, like you feel inadequate or you feel hopeless, that's not true. It may feel that all your coworkers think lowly of you, but you only have to talk to someone, talk to a coworker, or talk to your boss during performance review to see that's not true. Or you may feel that you're all alone in the world, but you only have to reach out and talk to someone and realize that there's more to the world than what you are feeling right now. So, in the context of imposter syndrome, you have to realize that just because you feel you are unqualified does not mean that everyone thinks you are unqualified. Your boss will not offer you that promotion if you are unqualified. Siyempre, nakasalalay rin yung reputation ni boss, di ba? And ako personally, before, I always turned down promotions because I thought my experience, my lack of experience, made me incapable. But I realize now that sometimes bosses and mentors, they don't look at experience, they look at potential. And that is something we also need to realize, that there is more to us than what we believe. So you need to override that script in your head that I am inadequate, I am inadequate. No. You should say, I am adequate, I am qualified for this task because of this and this and this. And one way to get all those, confidence boosters, one thing that I do, I save all the compliments that I get from my boss. I screenshot all those mga good job na pinapadala sa akin ng mga tao. If a client gives me, "Thank you, Jack, you helped me so much," I print that, I put that in a folder. And anytime I feel low confidence, I feel inadequate, I feel incapable, I just look at those. And I am reminded that what I am feeling is not how others see me.
Right. Or maybe Google yourself if you are already coming out.
Pwede
What
rin,
are
yes, yes.
what are the other ways pa that you have researched and others have told you of what they do? Some have like maybe affirmations taped to their mirror, or others like keep their
Mhm.
resume beside them so that they can always say, "Tandaan mo kung sino ka. Graduate ka ng
Yes.
ganyan."
Yeah, those are true. You, at the end of the day, we are our own advocates. So we really
Right,
have to find ways to make ourselves feel better. Yeah, even if
right,
it's just, you put on makeup, even if you're just at home, just to feel good about yourself, diba? Why not?
right.
Oo.
How hard is it to turn off the nagging voice in your head, especially let's say it was your mother or a critical teacher or a critical boss na parang forever na siyang nagre-rent ng space in your head? Any suggestions about how to shut them up and like turn on the cheerleading voice?
You literally have to shut it, well, not naman literally, but you shut it off. You go look for people who can affirm you,
Right,
who can support
right,
you, and spend more time with those people. Yung
right,
mga yung mga ganyang naysayers, mga ganyang bashers, they're not naman the whole world. They're just one
right,
person, two people, 'di ba? You have so
right,
many other loved ones and friends out there who can make you feel better about what you're
right.
going through.
So a
I
support
remember
system.
seeing
Go ahead,
Yes,
go
I
ahead.
remember seeing Michelle Obama. She said in her book, she was in high school and she applied to Princeton. And her guidance counselor actually told her, "I don't think you're Princeton material."
Oh my gosh.
And and I guess she said that, if I did not have the support of my parents, she credits her parents for what she has gone through. If I do not have the support of my parents, my grandparents, my brother, I would have let what that counselor told me sink in and not aspire to go to Princeton, go to Harvard, and reach the White House.
Right. There's always a naysayer, so you need to surround
Yes.
yourself with the cheerleaders.
Yes.
Okay, number 4, this is very hard to do. Don't compare yourself to others, especially on social media. Paano na yan?
Yes. Okay. First, with other people. This, again, from personal experience. Even until now, I have people my age na CEOs na sila or basta mga naka-C-suite na yung mga titles nila. And me, I'm a writer. Hindi man lang chief writer or anything, I'm just a writer. But anyway, so before, I would think, oh my goodness, ang galing-galing niya. Well, ako, ganito lang ako. So again, there's that self-defeating thought. I'll never be like that person. I might as well not just try. But I realized, and this was something that was taught to me, we all move at our own pace. Diba? It's like the video game metaphor I was talking about a while ago. But we can't be on level 1 comparing ourselves to level 10 all the time. If you are aspire to take it one step at a time, and wherever you are, be happy that you did your best, that you gave it your all, and if it's not for you, move on. And if it's for you, sige lang, pursige lang. Just don't keep saying, I want to be like her, I want to be like her. Be your own you, and just follow your passions, follow your goals, pursue what you want that makes you happy, and then you will be happy. And then about social media, for me, I really it's about curating your feed. Look for people who are realistic. Obviously, if you're going to keep following models and supermodels and beauty queens, that's really going to do a lot of harm to your self-esteem. Follow yung mga sinasabi nilang beauty with a purpose, na maganda sila, but at the same time, they are more than just beauty queens. They are also doing something with their lives. And that is what you should aspire for. Don't aspire to physically look like them or become Miss Universe or wear a crown or travel the world, but look at their advocacies, look at their goals, look at their values, and those are the things that you try to emulate.
Right. Maybe we can eliminate the word lang from our vocabulary, like
Right.
writer lang ako, housewife
Yes.
lang ako, because there is no lang, right? Every job is hard to do. Every role you assume, I'm sure everyone's giving it their all. And so,
Yes.
yung sa social media, again, how do you find the balance between follow mo na lang yung mga tingin mo achievable versus shoot for the stars, di ba? How do you find that balance?
I think it's really about being aware of your limitations, for lack of a better word.
Right.
Follow this person, but also be aware that this person had a different life path than you. She had different
Right.
opportunities. She had different
Right.
resources. I remember, okay, this one. We and Beyonce, ito naalala ko, Beyonce has the same 24 hours as us. So
Right.
ergo, ang meaning nun, we should all be like Beyonce. But Beyonce
But-
has a lot of money, has nannies and bodyguards and publicists and a dietitian and so many more things na wala tayo. So it's really, really impossible to achieve the
Right.
same stature as her. Ayan. So that's
Right.
what we should be mindful of. But that
Right.
does not mean you should stop aspiring to be a good singer if yan talaga ang gusto mo, di ba? If you want to be a good performer, sige, go, observe mo paano ba niya ginawa, yung work ethic niya, kung gaano katagal siya nag-train and all that. Yun.
Right. Paano naman culturally, di ba, likas tayo minsan inggitera. It doesn't have to be Beyonce, but sometimes our own friends, di ba? I mean, you can't block all your friends, right? But sometimes it's comparison with friends na nagiging toxic. What can you say about that, or what do you recommend?
Okay, first of all, I really ascribe to the belief that what you only see on social media is just a snapshot of their
Right.
life.
Right.
When it comes to my friends, of course, I'm happy for them. Like before, when they travel and they're eating such good food and they're wearing such nice clothes and their partner is so guapo or maganda. So, but because they're my friends, I also know that they also have days when they feel, when they feel ugly, quote unquote. They also have struggles at work. they also fight with that good-looking partner. They also don't know, they also yell at their kids and all that. So I know that life is not perfect. So I think that is the mindset that we should have
Right.
with every social media image that we see. We're all human. Some
Right.
may have just more resources or better opportunities, but at the end of the day, walang perfect life.
Right. Nagbabanyo din sila like you and me.
Yes, yes, yes.
I also remember before sa spot.ph, I had to call Ben Cab, the national artist, on the phone. And even if I was
Hmm.
editor-in-chief, natatakot akong tawagan siya. Dahil si Ben Cab yun, di ba? And then
Yes,
I was so
yes.
shocked na sumagot siya sa phone. Tapos kinausap niya ako. And then I realized, tao rin lang siya. Katulad
Yeah,
natin.
and he's nice. I hope he was
Right.
nice.
Right. He was
Yeah,
very
because
nice.
sometimes we're so intimidated. Oh my gosh, that's Myrza Sison, that's Ben
Ano
Cab.
ba?
I remember for MindNation, I interviewed Sarge Lacuesta.
Hi,
And Sarge
Sarge.
is such a good writer. And I was so nervous about talking to him. Kasi again, there's that imposter syndrome. Sino ba ako? I've never published a book. I'm not like him with his bylines everywhere. And he turned out to be such a nice guy. So,
Right.
yun na lang palaging isip. Minsan nauunahan tayo ng paranoia, ng fear. You have to give
Right.
people the benefit of the doubt that they can be nice, they can be down to earth. And
Right.
if in case they turn out to be not so nice or not so down to earth, just say, this is something I have to do for my job. I'll just get it done. I'll be nice and polite on my end. And afterwards, I never have to talk to that person again.
Right. And what's the worst thing that will happen, right? Kung sigawan ka man,
Hmm.
laway lang yun, di ba? Parang it's
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
di ba?
And you'll probably, that person won't even remember you.
Right.
Diba? So why would you devote so much energy and time thinking, oh no, he yelled at me, I'm such a failure. When for
Right.
that person, after yelling at you, next na, iba na yung sisigawan niya. Diba?
Okay, I like that. Next, talk to trusted friends and loved ones about your anxieties or even mental health professionals.
Yes. I remember what I said earlier that when I turned down that promotion from the airline, I did it without even talking to anyone. And looking back, I can't help but wonder how different my decisions would have been if I had talked to someone unbiased or supportive, would have said, yeah, Jack, go, kaya mo yan, di ba? Or even at least someone who could have helped me assess that opportunity or that promotion objectively. Parang, oh, will there be a pay raise, di ba? Will it help your career growth? Will it entail you to move to some country that you don't want to go? At least if I turned that promotion down for those reasons, at least it's because, may basis, hindi lang because of self-doubt or feeling inadequate na hindi naman totoo. So really, talking to loved ones can give you the confidence boost that you need to overcome your self-doubt. And then it would help if you have a mentor at work who can provide you with a realistic perspective about your qualifications, di ba? So kunyari, hey, this other manager offered me a job to move to his department. What do you think? So at least yun, may 360-degree perspective na siya about how the office works, and she will be able to let you know na, oh yeah, kaya mo yan, but you have to watch out for this and this and this. Or sasabihin niya, baka you might need more training before you accept the opportunity. So at least may mga ganong objective measures before you turn something down. And if you don't have a mentor at work, find someone you admire, if it's a relative, a friend, and then develop a relationship with them so that anytime you have problems, anytime you start to question yourself, they can be able to provide a clearer perspective about what you should do. Now, lastly, if you really, really need someone who is a professional, who is unbiased and non-judgmental, that's what mental health professionals are for. So talk to a psychologist if you're really being crippled by self-doubt, or talk to a well-being coach, if you're feeling stuck in your career and someone is offering you something and you're not sure kasi mas safe dito, nakakatakot dyan, and all that. So these people, psychologists and coaches, can also guide you in making the right decisions for yourself.
Right. Have you actually, because maybe you work for MindNation, consulted with mental health professionals, and
I
what
have
has the
I am
experience been?
talking Yes, I am talking to one now. I meet with my doctor every 2 or 3 weeks, depending on how busy we are. But before I wrote about imposter syndrome, my doctor was telling me na, hey, why are you working? She actually scolded me. You're 43. Why are you being an employee in some company? Why don't you start your own podcast or your own talk show? It's the pandemic, ang daming technologies now. You can do it from home. It's safe, it's easy and all that. And I'm like, no, who would want to listen to me? I'm just a nobody. And back then, and she kept nagging that point. Why do you think no one will listen to you? Why do you think you're inadequate? And at that time, I thought she was just being makulit. For me, no, doktora, I don't want to be mayabang. I want to be humble and blah, blah, blah. And when I finished writing this article, parang, oh my gosh, ito pala yung sinasabi niya. So I'm talking to her this Friday, and that is what I will share with her. Na, doktora, I'm so sorry. I should have listened to you pala. So I will not quit my job just yet. I'm having fun naman. And so far, it's aligned with my goals. So, but at least, like, opportunities like this, this is my first time to do an interview, online interview. This is something na malay mo, if mag-enjoy ako, I might be able to do something similar in the future.
I was just about to text you after that you should have a podcast because look, you're so articulate and knowledgeable. People have learned so much. There are thousands of viewers now tuning in. You write so many articles, and I'm sure this will not be your first guesting on Ask Ms. Myrz. So hopefully this will be the springboard for your podcast.
Thank you. I have tried hosting one before with Sarge.
Okay.
Yeah, that was scary kasi
Right.
parang iba yung ganyang face-to-face talking. Iba yung
Uh-uh.
you're recording for something that you don't know yet how the audience will react. Yeah, but it
Right.
was fun. Parang nice rin all these new opportunities that
Right.
that's why I'm so thankful din for MindNation. It's really here where I really learned about myself. Na, uy, kaya ko pala gawin to, kaya ko pala gawin to. Aside from being a writer, I'm also a quote-unquote motivational speaker because one of the services we offer to companies is we do mga webinars, mga trainings, and I have been conducting. I have been handling some of the talks, and it was nerve-wracking at the start,
Right.
but yeah, I'm
Yun,
learning and improving, and that's
yun
what's
naman,
important.
yun naman pala. Sometimes, the fears are really just in our head, and maybe I don't know, does it help to break down the fear down to specifics? Like, ano ba
Yes.
talaga yung kinatatakutan mo? Magkakalat ako. O, paano wag magkalat? Mag-prepare. Any more pointers or tips that you can offer?
I talked aside from magkakalat ako, that was what I said to you. I was so worried magkakalat ako. So I asked you for guide questions and I wrote it all down. So now I have notes here that I refer to para hindi ako magkalat. And then my boss is an amazing, amazing speaker. So I asked her for tips, what to do. And then you watch. I watched all your other videos. I watched all of the
Oh,
other episodes of Ask Miss Myrz to see how your other guests did it. But you kind of get the flow of how this
right.
show goes, and it feels like you're comfortable now in this environment. And
Right. So,
sometimes it helps to write it down. The night before, I took out my journal. Tomorrow is my first time to guest. I'm so nervous, blah, blah, blah. At least nalabas mo. Pag
right.
kinikim mo, it builds up. Hanggang nandito na yan. And it's going to be so hard. It's competing with what I want to say.
Right. I'm sure nakita mo na rin ang pagkakalat ko kung napanood mo yung past episodes dahil madami.
Didn't feel that way though.
So let's just run through your tips again. Number one, own your success, but do it with a level head. Feel free to interject if you remember something that you want to say. Number two is accept that mistakes are a part of life. Factor in your learning curve whenever you're attempting a new skill or to learn a new skill or task. And
Yes.
try not to be a perfectionist and
Yes, try.
instead do your best.
Yes.
Three, know that your feelings are not facts, and sometimes it's really all in the head. Four, don't compare yourself to others, whether superstars on social media or your peers or your friends,
Mm-mm.
and maybe filter your feed so that you are not
Yes.
toxified by unrealistic expectations or
Yeah.
negative.
What I do is I do not check my social media first thing in the morning. I used to do
Oh,
that.
oh,
And then
guilty.
you see right away, oh my God, parang ang perfect ng life nila. And then parang your tone for the rest of the day, sad ka na.
Right,
So what I do is I do some other stuff, meditate. Meditation helps just to focus and clear your mind, and then do something else. And then when you have time, when you're more grounded, that's when you go through your social media.
right. And then next, don't be afraid to reach out, talk to trusted friends and loved ones, or even mental health professionals about your anxieties.
Yes.
You were
I want
saying,
to
go ahead, please,
No, I
please.
want to add about talking to mental health professionals kasi it's like for us, when we feel a chest pain or when we have a headache or when we sprain our foot, we have no problems telling our friends about it. Uy, may masakit sa dibdib ko. Naramdaman mo na rin ba yan? Or, uy, masakit ulo ko. I think I need to see a doctor. Or, uy, natapilok ako. But why is it that when we feel sad, when we feel anxious or when we're, feeling hopeless, nakakahiya sabihin sa tao na, uy, sad ako. Or, uy, I'm feeling down because I feel so inadequate at work. This is something we need to overcome. We need to normalize talking about our feelings, our emotions. If there are any men who are listening to us right now,
Right,
this is
yeah,
especially true for men. 'Di ba? When they say, uy, sad ako, they get bashed. You have to man up, 'di ba? Magpakalalaki
right.
ka. Don't cry. That's for girls, yung mga ganon. So, talk to someone, even if it's not a mental health professional. Talk to someone if you are going through something, especially if the emotions are very difficult. Because if you just keep it in, it will hurt you emotionally in the long run, even physically, and it will affect your relationships with other people, and it will affect how you become, how you be productive. You won't be productive anymore.
Right. How do you then respond to maybe the unenlightened will say, maybe an older generation or, people who are ignorant will say things like, arte lang yan, anong depressed? Nung panahon namin, walang ganyan. Or just snap out
Yeah.
of it. What's your advice for countering those negative comments?
Yeah, those are really things that we also deal with, and you really just have to you have to find someone who will tell you na no, what you are feeling is real. It's not arte. It's just the same as having a headache or a sprained ankle or having diabetes. It's a condition. I wouldn't say it's an illness, but it's a health concern that you have to address. And it's not something that will go away if you just, if you just eat ice cream or watch a funny movie. These can help, but in the long run, you need to talk to someone. You might even need medication. You will need therapy. You need expert advice to get through what you are going through.
Right. I'm just curious, as a mom, how are you imparting to your children all these things that we talked about so that they grow up being more secure in themselves and maybe eventually not have imposter syndrome? Because I think the tips that you will share can also help us on a very basic foundational level to tell ourselves those things.
Yeah, I did tell my kids na this was what I experienced before. So I tell them so the first thing I always tell them is always try. If someone gives you an opportunity and it's not destructive, it's not harmful to you. For example, if someone invites you to go bungee jumping, medyo mag-isip-isip ka. But if someone invites you to try out for a sport, 'di ba? Just try. And if you feel that you don't like it, then you can always step back. But never ever turn down something just because you feel hindi mo kaya. And then I also tell them before making any major decisions, talk to us, talk to me or your papa. Because we can offer unbiased advice. We will never
Right.
ever tell you to do something that will be bad for you. And if we feel it's good for you, we will encourage you and we will give you different points of view so that you can approach that decision with a better perspective. And
Right.
then, of course, anytime you're feeling doubts about yourself, just talk to us. We will never laugh at you for feeling afraid, for feeling ashamed. We are here for you. Yeah, that's what I always tell my kids.
Right. For this number two about mistakes and failures, I remember watching the master class of, is it Sarah Blakely, the inventor of Spanx? And she
Mm,
said that in their family while growing up, every dinner time, everyone had to talk about how did they fail that day. And this
fail.
was to encourage everyone not to fear failure because I guess their
Yes.
parents knew that if you're afraid of failure, you'll be afraid to try new things. So every child would
Yes.
say, when they would say, so how did you fail today? They would say, well, I tried out for whatever and then I failed. But next time I'm going to do so and so. And I just thought,
Mm.
I think we should all, try and
Well, I'll try that. You know, my eldest son, I think this is something that plagues eldest children eh. Yung talagang
yes,
perfectionist
me.
tendency. Like me, my eldest, I remember, so syempre, preschool, he was always getting mga gold stars, perfect scores, and all that. And when he got to grade 2, he got his first line of 8 in an exam. I think it was 88 over 100. And he threw up.
Oh
When
my
he got that
gosh.
grade, he threw up and he was so scared to come home. And to be honest, I did not pressure him in any way. I never said, if you fail, don't come home, you don't get 100. I never said that. So I had to talk to him that time. Sabi ko, no, 88 is nothing. That's just a quiz. You learn from your mistake and then you do better next time. So now he's
Right.
getting mga 70s and low 80s and at least chill siya.
Right. What a change from, like, I don't know your generation, but my generation, because our parents really drove us to excel. Whenever I'd
Yes.
come home with a grade na ganon, I really
Oh.
feared their anger because
Yes.
they would get angry, and now things are changing, so I'm
Yes,
glad.
it's the same with me. You're the eldest, you have to set a good example to your siblings, di
Right.
ba? You can't make mistakes, gagayahin ka, di ba? Or ikaw yung eldest, ikaw yung binabandera sa mga relatives. So, dapat perfect. Ayun.
Right. Any parting words for the Pinoys and Pinays watching, especially about how to overcome imposter syndrome?
Yeah, my only parting word is, well, not my only, but recognize. I hope this episode, and if you get to read my article, please do read my article. Imposter syndrome is real. It exists in all of us. And while it is normal for all of us to experience self doubt from time to time, we should not let it overwhelm us. We have to believe in ourselves. We have to believe in what other people are saying about ourselves and trust in ourselves. And finally, find that courage. It is courage, to be proud of what you have achieved, of who you are, claim credit for your success, but of course, stay humble, stay grounded, and believe that you owe yourself that pat on the back, that congratulations, that hug, and that you are worthy of who you are.
Right. And please invite them to read your other articles on MindNation and to follow MindNation.
Yes. We are on MindNation is on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, on LinkedIn. Just look for at the MindNation. My blogs are there, or if you want to go straight to the blogs themselves, you can go to the website www.themindnation.com. Look for Mind University. Click that, and you'll see my articles there.
Thank you so much. What's your next article about?
Right now, we are preparing for, okay, sorry. I finished writing it na kasi, but this last week of May, we are focusing on physical health. So I just finished an article. It was just published about common exercise excuses. So what if
Oh,
someone tells you, I don't want to exercise because I don't have time, I don't have money, or nakakapagod siya, or it's boring. Ano yung mga reasons mo for countering that? And then next week, we will be coming out with articles that talk about why investing in why mental health therapy is a good investment, and also what first timers can expect when they go to therapy. Kasi minsan mga tao, talking to a psychologist,
right.
kailangan ko ba umiyak? kailangan ko ba ibuhos yung buong life story ko? But that's not the case pala. And I also learned from there that the first session is usually getting to know you. And if you feel tired afterwards, that's perfectly normal kasi it can be exhausting to confess, to confide your feelings. And then for June, because it's Pride Month, it's all about LGBT equality, SOGI. I'm preparing for that right now. I'm looking forward to writing about those.
Thank you so much, Jack. Congratulations. I'm so proud of
Thank
you. I'm glad you said yes. And here's
you.
to together. Hopefully, we can beat imposter syndrome.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.